What is up, you guys? It is Tuesday, so we're going to be talking that basketball, which is my favorite sport. I just love the way they dribble up and down that court. Not much to talk about this week. As I'm sure Victor mentioned yesterday, this is going to be the last week, as next week we will not be recording videos due to the holiday season. So, speaking of that, I want to kind of preview the NBA's Christmas Day schedule. It's become a tradition, really, in the NBA. They've always had a full schedule on Christmas Day itself. So we'll preview all of those games. First, two little bits of news I do want to note. Luka Doncic, we mentioned last week how he set the NBA record for most 25 games in a row, passing Michael Jordan. Well, he then suffered an ankle injury. He is out the next 2 weeks minimum. So unfortunate news there, as the Dallas Mavericks here have been enjoying quite the good start to the season. But it's only 2 weeks. I think the Mavs will be fine. But certainly unfortunate there, and hopefully the 21-year-old, I believe, sophomore season, Luka Doncic, hopefully he gets well soon. Another thing to note, just because it's incredible, the Milwaukee Bucks are currently on an 18-game winning streak. 18. They are 24-3 on the season, and there's 18 straight wins. So they were 6-3, literally at one point, and now they're 24-3. So absolutely incredible, and they have certainly rose as the clear favorite, I would say, to win the Eastern Conference this season so far. Also to note, the Philadelphia 76ers are now the last undefeated home team, as the Heat and the Celtics, who last week were both still undefeated, they have lost in this past week. Sixers are 13? 14-0 at home now? I should know this. Something like that. 13 or 14-0, something like that at home now. So the Sixers seemingly would have the best home court advantage in the NBA so far. So let's talk about that Christmas Day schedule now, because there are 4 pretty good games, 5 games total on Christmas Day. So the action gets started at noon, as it normally does. At noon, you have the Boston Celtics visiting the Toronto Raptors. That is going to be an excellent game. Obviously, two contenders in the Eastern Conference. The Raptors got off to a hot start this year without Kawhi. Many thought they would struggle. They have cooled off considerably since, but they are definitely one of the best home teams in the NBA. And then the Boston Celtics, of course, certainly having a very, very good year, and also still contenders. So great start to the day. Followed up with another great game at 2:30. The Milwaukee Bucks are visiting the Philadelphia 76ers in a battle of certainly two of the top contenders in the East. In my mind, it's Milwaukee, Philly, Boston, and Indiana in no particular order. Maybe that order, actually. So certainly a battle of like the top 2 contenders there. Philadelphia, I imagine. You know what? It's only a week away. They very well may still be undefeated at home going into that game, and the Bucks very well may still be on a winning streak. So that could really turn into a very, very fun and interesting game there. 5 o'clock, following that game, you have Houston visiting the Golden State Warriors. I still consider this a good game, despite the Warriors being the worst team in the league this year. The Warriors seem to play well in front of their home fans, and Houston and Golden State have sort of had this rivalry that's developed over the past few seasons, and so that'll be there. And we all know in rivalry games in any sport, anybody can win. I'm not saying I think the Warriors do win this. I think the Rockets win comfortably, but I think it could still be a fun game to watch and back and forth there for a little while. The 8 o'clock game, the prime time slot, is probably debatably the best game of the day. The Los Angeles Clippers visiting the Los Angeles Lakers. Two of the top teams in the Western Conference, certainly I mean, we talk Milwaukee and Philly, probably the top two contenders from the East. You could consider these two the top two contenders in the West this year. So another great game to watch there. Lakers currently have the best record in the NBA, whereas the Clippers, not too far behind them. Battle of Los Angeles, gonna be really fun. And then the nightcap at 10:30, you have the New Orleans Pelicans visiting the Denver Nuggets. I don't think this is a great game, but it is the 10:30 game anyways, so it's certainly not a prime hours or anything like that. The Pelicans are now tied for second worst record in the NBA, which I'll touch on in a minute, whereas the Denver Nuggets, certainly a contender in the West as well. They've cooled off as well lately, but they're certainly still a top contender. So to wrap up this NBA Tuesday, I want to touch on the top three teams and bottom three as we do every week. Your top three largely remains unchanged. You have the Los Angeles Lakers and the Milwaukee Bucks, both at 24-3 and leading their respective conferences. Mentioned the Bucks, 18 straight wins. The Lakers have just been really super consistent all season. Certainly two of the best teams in the league. I don't think it's very close, and the records prove that. Third team, last week it was Boston. This week it's Miami Heat, who are now 19-7. Technically, there were a handful of teams that are 20-8, but the Heat technically have a better win percentage, so they are the third best team currently in the league. But a little surprising here. I thought the Heat would be a playoff team. I believe at the start of the year I had them around the 6th or 7th seed. I think, no, I had them as the 5th seed. But as of right now, they're the 2 seed. So they are certainly exceeding expectations. I don't know if this will continue all season, but like I said, I definitely see them in the playoffs. And yeah, the Miami Heat, maybe throwing themselves into the contender, Eastern Conference contender conversation here. People kind of overlooking them, but we'll see. And then your bottom three teams, it's actually 4 teams because 3 of those teams have the same record, if you could follow that. So the New Orleans Pelicans, as I mentioned, they are 6-21 now. The Atlanta Hawks are also 6-21. And the New York Knicks, who suck, are also 6-21. So those 3 teams are all tied for the bottom. And then the Golden State Warriors are the worst team in the league record-wise at 5-23. So that will do it for this NBA Tuesday. I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Have a very, very happy holiday. Enjoy those Christmas Day NBA games. And we will certainly have a lot to talk about when we talk some NBA basketball again in 2 weeks. So leave a like, leave a comment, smash the subscribe button, let people know about us. Comment below which game you're most looking forward to of that Christmas Day lineup. I know for me it's the Sixers, but I'm a Sixers fan. I'm also really intrigued about that Boston-Toronto game and the Clippers-Lakers. All 3 of those, super looking forward to. I'll probably be watching basketball all day as well. It's like boom, slam, jam, jam. Those are the facts. That's how I beat Shaq.